Well, that's the one thing I'll say about Jibril. He always comes around. He's always findable. All right, here he is, the local Charlotte spokesmuslim from the Islamic Center of Charlotte, Jibril Huff. Jibril, hello, good morning.
Good morning, Keith. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Welcome back to News Talk 1110 WBT.
Thank you.
So, Samir Khan. You remember him?
Yes.
Yes. You and I have talked about Samir Khan, I think, a few different times, several different times over the years.
Right.
Samir Khan when he was here in Charlotte and running a pro-Al-Qaeda website, and then Samir Khan when he went over to Yemen and was putting out this internet magazine, Inspire, in English for Al-Qaeda, instructions, how to make a bomb in the kitchen of your mom, including the pressure cooker bomb. And you had said, you were concerned about Samir, that you had talked with him, you had tried to talk him off the ledge or something, but I asked you flat out if he was a terrorist some time back. You remember that? Yes,
that was just moments after we found out that he was assassinated that morning. I remember it.
After he had been taken out on a U.S. citizen, by the way, taken out in a drone strike, so there are fair questions about that still. But I asked you, is he a terrorist, and your response was?
My response at the time was, I think everyone deserves their day in court. I think if we go down the road of painting someone a terrorist simply because of what they may say, think, or even write, without an action following that, then we're going down a very slippery slope. And that's why I was hesitant to say he was actually a terrorist. I think I lean towards he may be supporting the ideology. But, do we really want to go down that road? If anyone says a certain thing or they say a certain word, all of a sudden they're going to be arrested and they're going to be charged for being a terrorist.
And
so I just think that's a slippery slope. Keith, I support the due process. I think we're getting too far away from the due process.
Well, what do you say now about Samir? There has been action taken. His magazine, Inspire, he has been the inspiration for, and his specific instructions in pressure cooker bombs. It's now been reported and directly linked. This is where the Boston Marathon bombing brothers got their instructions for that bomb, was Inspire magazine and your colleague Samir Khan's instructions on how to make this bomb. And 3 Americans are dead, and 175 are injured, many of them seriously and permanently. So what do you say about Samir Khan now?
First, let me clarify. He wasn't exactly a colleague. Is someone I knew of and I tried to reach out to. I'll say again, if we're, these things are coming out now, and if we're going to kill someone before the fact, then it's still a slippery slope and a road that we don't want to go in, assassinating U.S. citizens before they've been guilty of something. Now you could argue in a court case that he influenced this young man to do something wrong, and you could probably prove that. But Samir's dead. We can't bring him back to life and put him on trial. And that's where I stand. And I stand more on the side of the U.S. citizenship, the due process, than I am trying to defend the actions of someone who's doing something crazy. Or
do you still attempt to say that he was not a terrorist? Do you still attempt to say that he was not fomenting terrorism and violence? And teaching it and preaching it and hoping for it and instructing for it? By
the website and the magazine, you could definitely make that argument. But, was he ever, did he ever do an act of terror, or was he ever found guilty of committing an act of terror? Was he even talked to by the FBI? These are questions that we need to ask, and the answer would be no.
You know what these brothers have done? By using Samir Khan's instructions on how to make the pressure cooker bomb, they have gone and actually, and perhaps not literally, technically, legally, but after the fact, they've justified the drone strike on Samir. They've proven that Samir absolutely was putting out there stuff that he was hoping that people like these brothers would take and follow and use to attack Americans. How can you say that that's not the case?
I still have to stand on the side as we can't support the assassination of U.S. citizens. I think everyone needs their day in court. If we are to all of a sudden rah-rah something like this, it's a slippery slope that we don't want to go down. What's going to happen 5 or 10 years ago when it's some militia guy in America in Omaha somewhere, and the government decides to take him out simply because he wrote some kind of pamphlet on how to make a 30-round clip because they're outlawed now or something like that. We don't want to go down that road.
Some fair questions in there, Jabril. There are some fair questions in there, absolutely. But tell me what you think of Samir Khan now, today. You've seen his your guy that you knew. You can say he wasn't your colleague, but you knew him, and you defended him to a degree. And you've seen what his handiwork has helped lead to. What do you say now?
I'd say now the same thing I said before. He was going down the wrong road. And, I tried to stop him. I tried to do what I could do. And he was a misled young man.
But he wasn't a terrorist, huh?
I have to go back to say, was he ever found guilty of doing an act of terror? And or was he even investigated for terrorism? And I think the answer would be no. Now it's a different story. You might could take him to court now, but he's a dead man now. So he can't have his day in court.
Charlotte, spokesman for the Islamic Center of Charlotte, Jabril Huff. Jabril, I appreciate you popping on the phone.
Okay, thanks for your time, Keith.
All right.